I have everything that I need. I have everything that I want, but I'm grateful that I don't have everything that I deserve. My name is Ralph, and I am an addict. Ralph! And by the grace of God, my clean date is January 10th, 2001, and I have 23 and a half years. And I don't say that to get applause. I say that because to show you that this program works, and no matter what. So for 23 years, I've had a bunch of no matter whats. And I tell you, the only thing I've done right in this program is I haven't picked up and I haven't used. Because I don't run a perfect program, but I run my program. When I got clean, the newest drink that came out was a drink called Zima. So I haven't tried anything else since then. I know. And probably half of you in this room probably were either not born or barely in school. I remember. You remember Zimas? When I got clean, I got arrested on January the 9th, 2001, and I started fighting a case for possession of meth for sale because I thought that I could sell meth and try to support a habit. When I got arrested, I was fighting my case out of a court in the brand new, just built LAX courthouse building with a 91% conviction rate. They brought all the judges from the no-walk courthouse and brought them over to the LAX courthouse building. And that's where I started fighting my case. Each month I'd go to court, learn a little bit more. I'm not going to go much to in my drug log because you know what? I did drugs. I lost, plain and simple. I'm here in the program. On 2001, if anybody knows a lot about history, it's a very big year. And exactly one day after I took my 9-month chip, 9/11 hits and the World Trade Centers fall down. And at that point in time, I knew that I had to change my life. I watched my mom going to court. I started doing a little bit of steps. I had a sponsor. And so I go to the courthouse and I said, asked my high-priced attorney, I said, what's the deal that they're offering me right now? He said, 2 years with half state prison. And I said, let's take the deal. And the judge says, how much time do you need to get ready to go? I said, I'd like to enjoy Thanksgiving. So come back on December the 9th. So exactly 30 days before my 1 year, I turned myself into the LAX courthouse building. But I didn't go alone because 80 people from Narcotics Anonymous came to me with me to that courthouse building. That means that I never had to go alone. When I came to these rooms, I heard a lot of these cliches. Now, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I come from a very religious family. My father was a deacon in the Catholic Church, went to church every single Sunday, had the perfect family. I did not come from a dysfunctional home. Had a mom and a dad. Went to church every week. But I had a disease. And I'll get back into disease a little bit more because I believe the disease is a hereditary thing. I believe that my grandfather was an alcoholic. When he died, he had 27 years sober in AA. So I've had 3 family members die of this disease, so I know that this disease is a hereditary thing. So I went way to what I'd like to call my state of California paid vacation. And when I get back, the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous welcome me home. And these rooms, they tell you a lot about these cliches. And the one cliche that I always heard is don't leave before the miracle happens. And when I'm coming from a religious family, I believe this miracle was going to be, the heavens were going to open up, there's going to be a big flaming bush, my sponsor was going to walk on water, and that's not what the miracle of this program is. This program is that we stay clean one more day. I started doing some steps. In this program, there's 2 things. You can get clean, you can stay clean, but are you going to live clean? And I had to learn a lot about myself. I had to learn that I'm an okay person. I had to be able to walk in my shoes today. I had to learn in this program that those who judge don't matter, and those that matter don't judge. I purposely walk around wearing off-color socks that don't match a single thing I wear because I don't give a shit what people think about me. I wear sandals 50% of the time. I started doing some steps. Steps 1, 2, and 3, I can't do it, somebody else can, and I'm going to let them do it. But how many of you do steps 1, 2, and 3 and fully let your higher power take over without trying to take it back? Let me tell you what I've been doing this last month and a half with my 3rd step, because I have to live it on a daily basis. My mom had, what's the root of the heart called? Angioplasma. A week after that, developed a acute aneurysm in her arm where they had it and had to have emergency surgery. Last Wednesday morning, I hear, and I live in a nice neighborhood. I live in Redondo Beach area. So I hear this pop, 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 6 pops. I thought it was gunshot. I hear a knock on my door. I look outside. It was the police telling me to get out of my house because there was a fire next door to my front house. And in 1 hour, the family next door and the family in front of me lost everything they had in less than 1 hour. The electricity was turned on my house for 4 days. I was living in a house with no electricity, and I've been clean 23 years. But I still went to a meeting. That Friday, I went to a business meeting of Narcotics Anonymous because that's what I was told to do, is to suit up and to show up. On Friday of last week, my childhood friend who decided it's okay to chip fentanyl and drink died. 37 years old and died. If you don't think this disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful, then you know what? Your refund could be, your misery could be refunded back to you. Because you're sitting in these chairs because somebody's paying for you to sit in these chairs and enjoy it. Enjoy what you're getting here. Enjoy the love that you're getting here. I sat here and watched how Nancy knows every single one of you and showed you every single one of you love and cared about you because these people care. This program is a program of caring. After doing some steps, I did steps 4 and 5. And like I tell the people that I sponsor, if you think that you're I promise Nancy I'm going to cut back on my profanity. If you think some special snowflake, you're not. Because there's nothing in this room that you've done that another person hasn't done or even done better. Right. We've all sold drugs. Some of you probably sold yourself or did things that you didn't want to do to get your drug. Some of you probably degraded yourself, stole from your mom, stole from your grandmother, pawned your parents' wedding rings, stole the checkbook, lied to your wife, lied to your kids, took your little kid's change jar. There's nothing that you've done in this room to get your drugs that somebody else hasn't done. And if you think that you're special, that you're afraid to get rid of the garbage that's holding you back in your life, then you're just going to keep relapsing. You're not being recovering. 6 and 7, I had to learn about my character defects. And I had to face the biggest character defect in the world because I have one, me. I'm the character defect. I'm the one that has the defect of character. I'm the one that every morning I have to realize, and I have a temper. Right now I'm working on my temper. And I'll snap in a heartbeat. I don't put NA stickers in the back of my car. I don't wear NA shirts because when I'm driving down the 405 freeway, I don't want nobody to know I'm recovering. Because I'll give somebody the bird. I have resentments to people who own Teslas because they're usually all bad drivers. 8 and 9. Our 8th step says we become willing to make amends to the people that we've harmed. Step 9 says make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except to do so with each of those and others. It doesn't say that you're going to go back to the, and I'm sure nobody here did that got the free COVID money that they didn't deserve from the unemployment, right? Nobody here did that. But it's not telling you to go back and return that money. It's not telling you to go back to the check cashing place where you cash those bogus checks for $15,000. It's not saying that. It says become willing to make amends to them people. Because we're not asking you to put yourself in harm's way. We're not asking you to go back to prison or do something else. We're asking you to become willing. And you'll work with a sponsor on how to make those amends when it comes time. On July 28th of 2020, I got a call from my mom. Back up a couple months earlier. In January of that year, I turned 50. And my dad came out from Arizona. They sold their house in Torrance and moved to Arizona. And he had just, he had prostate cancer and the cancer went away. And then in May of that, so we were celebrating my birthday and having a great time. In May of that year, he caught bladder cancer. And on July 28th, my mom says, you need to come down and say goodbye to your father. Now, I had made my amends to my dad a long time ago. And I walked into the room where my dad's bed was, because we brought him home. And I told Dad, I'm sorry that I wasn't the son you wanted me to be. And my father looked at me with the love in his eyes that he always had. Let me tell you a little bit about my father. My father was the type of person that on his birthday, he would give us a birthday gift because he taught us it was better to give than it is to receive. And my father looked at me in his eyes and he said, I love you. It took me 19 years to say 2 words. And my mom told me a year and a half after my dad died that he waited 19 years for me to say that. I'm sorry. And I don't say that for sympathy. I don't say it for anything else. I say that because if you owe amends to somebody, make those amends. But if it's somebody personal, don't wait till their deathbed to say, I'm sorry. Don't wait till your mom or dad are on their deathbed to say, I'm sorry for being a fuck up. Sorry for the profanity, Nancy.
All right.
Our disease manifests in so many ways. When I was doing my 6th and 7th step, my sponsor came to me and says, when are you going to start to be real with the people in Narcotics Anonymous? I said, I am real. He said, no, you're not. You tell me everything, but why don't you tell the people in Narcotics Anonymous who you really are? I said, what do you mean? He said, why don't you tell those people that you are an openly gay male? I said, why? It's because you're going to find out the true bellow of this program. So he ordered me to go, or not ordered me, he directed me to go to a men's stag meeting in Wilmington, California, which is still there. And I walked to this room and see, now a little about me, I had this fear in life because I was raised in Torrance and in a different neighborhood. So I had a fear with all those people with tattoos and brochures and tattoos on the head. That was my fear in life. And I walked into a room full of men like that, and I said, my name is Ralph, and I'm gay. And those people came to me and they gave me a hug and said, welcome, thank you for being real. Because that program taught me that you could be whoever you wanted to be in this program. Because in Narcotics Anonymous, we look for the similarities, not the differences. Half the people I sponsor are gang members. Half the people I sponsor have had a life that I've never had. Because we look for the similarities in the program. We learn that those who judge don't matter, and those that matter don't judge. And I don't have to dance with everyone in this program, and I don't have to like everyone in this program, but I have to love you. Like I said, I haven't done these steps perfect. I haven't done this program perfect. Early in my recovery, and Nancy has a service junkie shirt. I'm a service junkie. I do a lot of service. And in my early days of service, and it's part of my story, and I'm not ashamed to say that I misappropriated NA funds. And a little bit of funds. And I paid it back. But that's part of my story. It's part of what brought me here. Because I had to learn in service that you could have service-based recovery or you can have recovery-based service.
Yes.
You can work the steps, the traditions, and the concepts. In Narcotics Anonymous, we're the only ones that have concepts. And by working those, I had to learn to be of service again. I had to learn that being of service wasn't just trying to be up there and being the nice shirt and the matching socks and the matching shoes. I had to learn that I needed to save my ass and not save my face. I had to learn that I didn't want to be popular in NA. I had to learn that I didn't want to be famous in NA. I had to learn that I had to be me in NA. And you can be whoever you want in Narcotics Anonymous. If you want to identify as a lamp, then let's screw a light bulb in your ass and turn you on with a lampshade and call yourself a lamp. Because you could be whoever you want to be in this program. You could be, and I work in recovery. I'm the clinical director of a drug program. And I've worked for this company for 16 years. And I see the disease every day. I walk the streets every day. I decided a long time ago to get rid of my office, and my office is my car. And every day, 16 years ago, I didn't have to carry Narcan in my car. 16 years ago when I started, I didn't see people doing the fentanyl punch. 16 years ago, I didn't see people lying on the streets like they are today. This disease wants to take you out. And our disease, just because you stop drinking alcohol, just because you stop doing drugs, doesn't mean that you're not going to find a different addiction, because I did. I put down the spoon and picked up the fork. I found my new drug of choice, Jack in the Box tacos. 2 for $1. A little bit of ketchup and ranch is the best thing in the world. And I'd go to Jack in the Box because, see, I'm a good addict. I can go to Jack in the Box and not order 1 set, not order 2 sets, but order 20 sets of tacos. Then I'd order 2 Diet Cokes because I didn't want the lady in the drive-thru to think that I was eating this whole thing. And they had to be a diet soda because in my head, I'm not going to gain any more weight by having a diet soda. And I'd go, I don't know if any people are familiar with the Donna Beach area, I'd go behind the Galleria Mall and I'd eat these tacos like a drug addict because I didn't want to be seen, because I was ashamed. And I ballooned up to almost 600 pounds. When my father died, I was 585 pounds. I had the gastric bypass surgery, but that's only a tool. I had to work the steps of Narcotics Anonymous or the steps of AA, whichever AA you decide to do. Because I'm going to say this right now, our basic text thanks the people in Narcotics Anonymous for the steps that were given today. And anybody who's been around for my sponsor, first time I did the steps, I did the columns, just like you do in AA. Because old timers, that's what they were taught. We didn't get a basic text in 1978. So I did the steps. I had to learn that I had to replace meth with food in my steps. Today I've lost 357 pounds because I do the steps, I work out every day. Because I know that this disease is going to kill me. Our disease manifests everywhere. If you like to, how many people like get on those illegal tap on your phone? Yeah. Does that work in a spiritual program? Easy money. How many people? And it's actually funny, sponsoring this whole new people, I learned a whole new word. And this year I've learned tap room and plug. So, you know, my education's getting a lot better. Like I said, I've been clean a long time. How am I doing on time?
You got 11
and a half minutes, thank you. Steps 10, 11, and 12. And the reason I do the steps is because I believe that steps 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 9, and 10, 11, and 12. And they all work together. Step 10 says to continue to take personal inventory. When you're wrong, promptly admit it. That's hard. I was at a business meeting last Friday, and I called a lady out in her shit. And what did I have to do? I had to text her and say, I would like to make amends for my part of what happened. Not because I owed it to her, because I owed it to myself. Because making amends, direct amends, isn't for the other person, it's for yourself to keep your side of the street clean. 11, to continue to build that relationship with your higher power, whoever it is. Now, mind you, a lot of you come to this program, you have problems with the word God. And if you're in AA, think of it as a group of drunks. If you're in NA, think it's good orderly direction. Whatever you want to call your higher power, I know mine is loving and powerful because you know what, he brought me here this far. And 12 talks about helping the newcomer. Continue to spread the message to the newcomers and people out there. This program is a simple program for complicated people. I ask you for 4 simple things. Go to meetings. Get a sponsor. Do the steps. Be of service. How many of you have 6 months or more? How many of you guys with 6 months or more have a commitment? Not very many. Why can't you give 2 hours back to a program that's given you so much? 2 hours of your life that saved your butt to help another person. 2 hours. It's not a lot. Even if it's just picking up chairs, picking up cigarette butts, making coffee, volunteering to do something. Because this program, freely giving back, was given to you. For people who have a car, drive them to a meeting. Speaking on a panel. If you have 6 months, you all can speak on a panel now. There's a guy who lives at one of your sober living house. That's my grand sponsee that's speaking on his second panel this Saturday at Pacific House where he graduated from. Because he's giving back what was given to him. It's important because if we can't keep what we have unless we give it away. I like to, people that here know me, I like to share a couple stories. And the first story is the story of the donkey. And some of you heard the story? You guys know the story? The story of the donkey is, there's an old farmer, and I relate to it very much. The old farmer was, this donkey falls into a well. And he keeps falling in, the donkey keeps taking him out, and he falls in and keeps taking him out. So the farmer decided just to euthanize the donkey and kill him and bury him alive. Donkey screaming, "Hey, don't throw this dirt on me." Farmer said, "I'm tired. I'm tired of getting your butt out of the well." So he gets them, found people, and they start throwing the dirt on him. And he's screaming at the top of his lungs. Then all of a sudden, the donkey got smart, and he stopped screaming, and he kept taking that dirt, and he pounded it down one at a time, and took one step up, and got himself out. Because he did the steps and got himself out of the hole. But he didn't do it by himself because he needed that dirt that was being shoveled in from other people to get himself out of this hole that he put himself in. Don't leave before the miracle happens. Women get their kids back. Men get their kids back. Men own homes. Men get cars. Men get jobs and careers. And all of us are like the sequoia trees. Anybody know anything about sequoia trees? They're hollow. The roots, they go 6 feet underground. The reason why sequoia trees grow close together is because the roots are hollow. So they grow 6 feet on the ground and they start intermingling with each other to hold each other up. If those roots didn't intermingle, the sequoia tree would fall. We're like the sequoia trees and those hollow roots that I need you to hold me up in my darkest times. When my father died, it was the people in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous that were there for me. When I had my surgery, it was the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous that were there for me. And if you don't think this program will take you out, I had my third sponsor, who I had for most of my recovery, relapsed after 35 years because he couldn't handle life anymore. His son was shot execution style on a bad drug deal. He had back surgery, and he went from using oxycodone to using heroin to using everything else. Because this disease took him out, because he stopped using the tool bags. And he started saying, and I didn't see the clues when he started saying, Ralph, I drink a near beer watching football because I miss the taste of drinking beer.
Yeah.
Because he was chipping. My new spot, my current, I'm in a sponsor situation right now. My current sponsor is 81 years old, starting to get old and forgetful, but I'm not going to fire that person for being my sponsor. So I have another person who I'm working the steps with, and this person will stay on as my sponsor because when this person dies, I have somebody in place. Because there's a time in Narcotics Anonymous when you are there for your sponsor, just like they were there for you. Because we work together like sequoia trees. A couple Sundays ago, I called my sponsor, "Hey, how come we're not at the home group meeting?" And she shared that she had to thank me because she wasn't going to come. Because she was feeling crappy. With 33 years, she still felt like crap. 5 minutes, thank you. We have to know to become the changes that we want to see in our life. We have to become and want to be the person who we want to be. If you don't have a sponsor, get a sponsor. Find someone that you can relate to. If you're coming to NA meetings just to pick up girls, whatever gets you here, God bless you. But then start to realize that there's more than just that. Realize that there's a whole life beyond this room. You can't always be dependent on a meeting to keep you clean or sober. I'm back of service again after I misappropriated the funds, and I was given a second chance because Narcotics Anonymous is a program of second chances. And sometimes I just want to give up and run away, but I can't. And there's people that I know that don't like me. And that's okay. Because today I can put my shoulders back, keep my head up high, and walk in my Crocs. Because, once again, I have to go back to the great words of Dr. Seuss. Those that judge don't matter, and those that matter don't judge. If you are not comfortable walking in your shoes today, then find a sponsor to work some steps that you can. Get rid of the garbage in your life. Get rid of what's holding you back. Because remember, you're only as sick as your secrets. I tell my sponsor that sponsor everything about me. Everything. If they still want me to sponsor them, let's do some damn steps. I have a sponsor that used to be in this program, and I still sponsor him 6 months later. And that's the best thing in the world that helps keep me clean. Because I need you as much as you need me. Coming to these rooms and sharing my experience, strength, and hope is what keeps me clean. Hearing your story is inspirational. And thank you for showing emotion. Because you know what? A real man can cry today. A real man can show emotion. A real man can put down the facade that they have and the mask that we're wearing and show, you know what? It's okay. A real man can stop put the gang life on the street, keep it there, and change and show love and compassion. A real man can be what he wants today. And if nobody in this room told you today that they love you, I love you, and have a good day. My name is Ralph, and I'm out.